And a beautiful Wednesday morning to you, my amazing viewers. It is an honor to connect with you from here, the capital city of Abuja. I am Promise Njoku Adibi. And with me in the studio, they're already making me blush. I have some beautiful ladies in the studio. First, I'm still beefing her though. Mrs. Mojisola Olatiwo. She is a teen mentor and a librarian. Please, Mrs. Mojisola, welcome. Don't worry, we'll
Thank
continue
you.
our beef after.
Good morning.
And I have Mrs. Vuriri. Did I pronounce that right? Vuriri
Yes.
Anita Ifidon. She is a counseling psychologist. Good morning, Mrs.
Good
Anita.
morning and hello everybody.
Oh, you have a beautiful smile.
Oh, thank you.
I think she'll be our referee when we're settling our beef.
After the show.
After the show. Okay, today we have a very important topic to talk about. Believe me, very important. But before we do that, I want to encourage you to share the link with everyone around you, and also feel free to call in and make your contributions via the phone number showing on your screen, or you can send us your comments via any of our social media platforms showing on your screen. So I've been talking about this topic we're going to be looking at, our topic for today, but then I know you don't know what that topic is, and that topic is sex education. When should sex education be taught? Now, sex education for children is an essential aspect of their growth and development. It is a way to teach children about the human body, relationships, and sexuality in an age-appropriate manner. Now, the goal of sex education is to help children make informed decisions about their health, respect their bodies, and develop healthy relationships. And you agree with me that it is important to approach sex education in a way that is comfortable and supportive, acknowledging that children mature at different ages and they have different levels of understanding. Now, by starting these conversations early, and having open and honest dialogue, parents, guardians, teachers, caregivers, counselors, can help children develop positive body image, develop self-esteem, and healthy attitudes towards relationships and sexuality. Okay, I've talked a lot about sex education. So in all of this, the biting question is, when is the right time to teach children sex education? Well, I have the guests in the studio who will be doing justice to this, but then the video you just watched is the opinions of some people out there on what sex education is and when we should teach our children sex education. So let me come to you first, Mrs. Anita. We watched that video, and
Yes,
then
we did.
we have somebody say couple
They need to
dialect.
couple. They need to couple their legs. To couple their legs.
Okay, so now the big question is this thing called sex education. What exactly is sex education, and why are we talking so much about it?
Well, sex education is. What is sex education? It's just a broad term that encompasses the education about human reproduction, about the body of the children, understanding what the children would experience as they are growing up, their body anatomy, understanding their body anatomy, understanding what puberty is all about, how to go through it, understanding consent and building healthy relationship, promoting self-esteem in the life of your child, what to do and what not to do. It's not really as complex as people see it. These are just the things you discuss when talking about sex education. So you're just trying to build a healthy relationship and build a healthy life in the life of your child, so that when the child goes out, the child knows what to do, the child knows when to say yes or say no, the child knows when to decline from peer pressure or what the child sees on social media, knows that no, this is not right for me because I have been taught the right things. So it's not really as complex as people say it.
Okay, well, viewers out there, you just heard it. It's not as complex as growing up, maybe our own time. Well, I know you have that experience. Yes, you looking at me out there. So feel free to call in. Number to call in is showing on your screen. Call in, tell us, share your experience with us, and then tell us at what age do you think children should be taught sex education. The number to call in is showing on your screen, and you can't call in, you can send us your comments via our social media handles showing on your screen. So Mrs. Moju, she just told us about sex education. So I want to know, is there any difference between sex education for children and sex education for adults, or is it the same thing we teach both?
Oh, absolutely. There's a difference.
Okay.
Not necessarily in the content, but in how much information you're releasing
Okay.
per child. I think you said earlier you were talking about age appropriate information. There's too much information. There's too little information. So the question is, you're looking at the age of the child, or the young adult, or the teenager that you're talking, and you're telling them things that they would understand at their level. So there's a difference.
Okay, so let me come to you, Mrs. Anita. Well, you actually said sex education should be taught, but then how early? We're talking about children right now. The adults will come to you some other time, but we're looking at children right now. How early should we start teaching children sex education? Because looking at the video we just watched, someone said
12,
from
15,
15, you should start teaching them to couple their
Just
legs.
copy their legs together.
I don't like that.
Why are you so particular about this couple now?
It's the image
Because
that phrase just puts in your mind.
Because
Couple
I don't
their
know.
legs.
What are you
Think of a
coupling?
padlock.
What are you coupling? Are you getting screwdriver to couple?
Okay,
Because
so
if that's no information to the child,
Okay.
couple your legs. She has coupled the leg. What happens?
what next? So at what age should we start teaching
Okay.
sex education?
Anyway, because of how the world is right now, because of how early children are exposed to social media, YouTube, school, a lot of things, I would say from the age of 3.
Okay.
Yeah, some
Don't
even
think
go
that's too
from
early.
No, I don't think that's too
I
early
don't
because
agree, by the way.
because
Okay, I'll
what-
come to you.
sorry, because what you're teaching them from that part, there are different stages. From there, you're only teaching them how to identify their body parts. Okay, this is your body. Like I said, there are different stages to it. You're teaching them, this is your body, this is your breast, this is your private part. You need to teach them what each part is. So you need to tell them, so person shouldn't touch you. If you are being touched in this part, please tell me. We've had issues where we read that a pedophile raped a 2-year-old child or a 3-year-old child.
Yeah.
Now, good. Now, if the child already knew that, okay, nobody is meant to touch me here, the child will raise an alarm and shout, Mommy, Daddy, Uncle wanted to,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it starts from the family, it starts from inside or a neighbor.
True.
So the earlier you do this, you just teach them basically, this is your body, this is you. Nobody should touch this except Mommy and Daddy. And when it is not done well, shout. Say, Mommy, this happened, that happened. And then you go, as the child is getting older, there's also another topic you teach. Like I said, is stage by stage. So from this age, you're just teaching the basics. And then as the child is growing, you're spilling different informations to the child.
Okay, beautiful. Well, you said you don't agree with her 3
No,
years.
So no, 3 years for the child, yes. But I'm even saying that teaching sex education for a child starts way before the child is born.
Now she's going spiritual.
It's
Let's
not a
hear,
spiritual
let's
matter.
hear you.
It's a simple thing. If you don't even know what to teach as the mother, as the father of the child, then what are you telling them at age 3? Are you preparing yourself for those so-called hard conversations, which, as she said, are not that complicated, it's not that deep.
It's not that deep,
But
really.
then, because we already have a mindset, even as adults, that has been handed over generations to say sex is a shameful thing and
Yeah.
should not be spoken about in public, and is not something you should do. It's not so, and you're wondering, where are these narratives coming from? Because this is a God ordained thing that is supposed to happen between a couple that love each other, a married couple that love each other, for companionship and for procreation. So what is bad about that?
God created
Do
it
you
and he said it's
understand?
good.
So if you as a parent have been able to get over your own hang-ups what's the plural of that word? Hang-ups, yes. If you've been able to get over your own hang-ups, even as you're having that child, you're already preparing yourself for those conversations. Some children are precarious. By age 2, they're already saying things that you're wondering,
Who taught them? Where did
taught
they
them?
hear
Where
that
did they hear
from?
that
and
from?
they're getting these things. We hand them tablets every day.
They watch cartoons.
They watch cartoons.
They hear a lot
Now,
of things. They
for
see a
me,
lot of things.
sex education in this day and age even starts with that. To say, how are you monitoring what your 1-year-old is seeing on YouTube Kids? Because some of these messages are already being passed across subtly, even on the so-called child-friendly things that we see
Yeah,
on social media.
yeah.
So that's where it even starts to say,
Yes.
this is a no-no. We're not watching this. We're not watching that. So it could start, that's what I said, I don't totally agree. It could start even earlier than 3. So,
So
but
if
3
I
is-
may,
is
I
when-
actually agree with her. But then again, parents, in fact, the husband and the wife need to sit down together to
And
agree
have those
and have that
conversations.
conversation first. That see, at this age, we need to start with our child. They must be on the same page. If they're not on the same page, it makes it difficult.
on the same page are reading the same book.
And reading the same book, reading the same articles.
Well, viewers, you've had these 2 amazing women in the studio with me here. Sex education is a must for our children. Do you agree with them? Do you have a contrary view? Please feel free to call in. The number to call in is showing on your screen, and you can send us your messages and comments, or if you have any questions for them, yeah, they are experts. They're here to answer your questions. So send in your questions. They're going to definitely respond to it. We want to, enlighten both parents and children alike, because the rate at which children are being abused these days is alarming. It is alarming. Primary school children, secondary school children are even
Secondary
Nursery
is the
school
nursery and
children.
primary schools. Nursery and primary school children are the
That
ones.
are the most
Yes, they are the most vulnerable
it's-
ones. They are
it's
the ones
scared.
that suffer these things.
So we need to prepare our
Yes,
children.
that's
And you
why you
can't
need to
give
start
out
on
what
time.
you don't have. You don't give up what you don't know. So as parents, please feel free to call in. You have any questions, if you have any confusion, we have people here, by God's grace, who will put you right. So I want to ask now, how do you explain sex education to a child without causing more harm? Let me start with you, Mrs. Anita. Sex. We all our minds keep going towards a particular aspect. Now, these are children. How do you explain this to them without causing harm to them?
Okay. Now, first of all, as a parent, a guardian, or a caregiver, you need to educate yourself first. You need to know what exactly you're explaining to your child. So you need to get books. So it's not just saying, as they used to say it, when your period starts, don't let any man touch you. If any man touches you, you
If
get
any man
pregnant.
crosses your leg, you're
if any man-
pregnant.
And then they think they've done sex education. But no, that's not it. You start first of all by being true to yourself and being honest to yourself as a parent. You teach the child healthy living. The child. Now, when we're talking about the child, because from those viewers, they were talking more about the girl child. Now, we need to educate both the girl child and the boy child, not just the girl child, because the boy child also need this information. So, first of all, they come across puberty. Now, a lot is going through their mind. Their body is growing. Their body is developing. The boy feels, oh, I'm a man now. The girl,
Hormones are
yes.
exactly early hours of the morning, and he doesn't know how to handle it.
Exactly. The girl feels her breast is getting bigger.
And she's
Her
becoming
bum
more
is getting bigger.
attractive.
People are telling her, fine girl, this. So how do you start this? First of all, you explain what puberty is. You explain what menstrual cycle is to the girl. Okay, at this stage, you're going to be experiencing your menstruation 4 days, 5 days. You need to be careful. There's something called ovulation. There's something called, you need to keep yourself
Okay, sorry, I
knitting.
have to pause you. We have a caller
Okay.
there.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for
This is
calling.
David from Lagos.
Okay, thank you all the way from Lagos,
I
Mr.
wanted
David.
to
Go ahead.
contribute to what is going on.
Okay.
What people are discussing about child education. I have this neighbor in my compound, and it's a public servant. Road safety for that matter. Bringing underage children to the house to mess up with. In that kind of condition, what do we do? See, it's not one, it's not two. And I'm having it to, just outgrowing daughters with me. In that condition, what should somebody do? Somebody, a public, servant for that matter. What do I do? Thank you.
Thank
Hello?
you very much,
Yes.
Mr. David. We heard you. We heard you. Thank you very much for calling in. Well then, who is going first to give him a
Let me
solution
go
on what
first.
he should do?
Mr. David, the first thing you need to do is teach your daughters what to do. Let them understand what is right and what is wrong. Teach them your family values. I'm happy that it's a father that is now calling
Yes,
you to
yes,
give his own
yes.
concerns. Let them know what it means for a man to respect a woman, and it's only from you, their father, that they can learn that. Let them understand what a healthy relationship is. 1, 2. Another thing, practical thing you can do is call this man and talk to him. To say it's not okay that you're doing this. I mean, there are older women out there, if you must. More often than not, such a person would not want to listen to you. The third thing you can do, you're in Lagos State. Women Affairs, the Ministry for Women Affairs in Lagos State is very, very
Functional,
active when it comes to things like that. I think it's a case of reporting this kind of thing.
Anonymous
because
call.
This person is dealing with minors. So it's not even a matter of consent or no consent here. This person is dealing with minors. So he should be reported to the authorities. It doesn't matter if he's a civil servant or a forced person or something. What he's doing is wrong. So those are the 3 things that I think, practical things that I think you can do to protect your daughter and other people's daughters. I mean, these are other people's children that he's bringing
Yes,
home.
I agree with you.
You agree 100%.
with
So,
you,
so
yes,
Mr.
yes.
David, you have answer to your question. Please, in fact, I'm very particular about reporting him.
Concern.
I'm very please don't waste any more time.
Get their
Have-
numbers. I
in
think
fact-
that their numbers are in public domain.
Yeah, please get
find
them,
them
get
out.
him, get him reported, and then allow them to do their work. I'm sure by the time they, God help him if it's a woman that catches him. Oh, God help him. So please take the right step, and thank you for calling in to raise this concern. We know a lot of people out there might be facing such, but they don't have the courage to call in. Thank you for bridging in that gap. I hope we gave you very good response. Okay, so you were talking about
Okay, yes. So also you need to use correct terms when teaching your child.
Yes.
Not just trying to break through or hide things. You need to
Or
say
nickname things.
yes, or nickname things. You need to say things the way they are to the child. Now that's why I said you need to also use age appropriate terms too. Also as a parent you need to be open because your child will definitely ask you a lot of questions. So you need to be open, you need to be ready for it. You need to be strong. At that point, there's no going back, there's no shouting. Now you need to focus on consent and boundaries.
Okay.
Boundaries, more importantly, the child should know where to draw the boundary in her life as she's going on or as he's going on. They need to know what consent is, when to say yes and when to say no. Okay, if somebody comes to you to ask you for we have children in school right now who are going into relationships, who are telling their friends, okay, this is the time to start it. Don't worry, just go and meet this boy likes you, he's going to be your friend, he will just touch you a bit and that's all. That's just it.
And
So
this is peer to peer.
yes, this is peer to peer. So in fact, let me even go back again. From the beginning, you need to have a healthy relationship with your child so that your child
Will
can
confide,
even have
yeah.
this relationship
Confidence.
with you and this confidence in you to be able to open up, because you cannot give what you don't have.
True.
So if you don't have this healthy relationship or you cannot even communicate with your child, then you don't even know, you're not even giving anything, because it's one thing for you to sit your child down and tell the child a lot of things and the child says, okay mommy, okay daddy, and then goes back and doesn't come back to you for anything again, because it's like, this one that she's telling me this one, I beg, let me go and meet my friend and
That
continue
will
my life.
sit down, to
Yes.
explain.
So right from when the child is born, you need to have a very good relationship with your child. Make your child your best friend. make your child your friend. And that's one thing I thank God my husband does. He will come down to their level. That's what he will come down to their level. He wants to listen to everything they need to say. So you teach your child boundary, teach your child self-respect. Your child should have a good self-esteem. You need to teach your child what self-esteem is. The child should be proud of who she is or who he is, so that he is not coerced into doing certain things and just feels, okay, now let them manage me. Because so those things need to be taught. Now, you're not just talking about the physical touching, you're also going into emotional lectures. There are a lot of emotions put into this. You need to teach the child about emotional development, to things that they should expect, what happens, and repercussion of things also. Then you also need to teach your child about healthy living. That, okay, now say if you need to go deep as the child grows on. Maybe when the child gets to 9, 10 or 8, 9, see, this is what sex is. Sex is when a man and a woman come together, because by then they're already teaching them sciences.
Yeah.
They're already seeing
they
it.
see it on-
So you need to, by 8 already, you should be able to tell your child, see, this is what sex is.
Where
Sex
babies
is
come from.
Yes.
Yeah, because
When
they
a
ask
man
where
and
the
a
kids
woman-
come from, where
Yes,
the
they
babies
ask
come
you.
from.
This is when man and a woman come together to engage in some activity, and the woman gets pregnant and the baby comes from the vagina. You're not ready to have a baby, are you? No. Now, there are a lot of things that just happen apart from having a baby. There are infections all over. You have AIDS, you have infections. And then
Okay,
what happens?
sorry, I have to pause you again. We
Okay.
have another caller.
I just want to. My name is Bernard
Okay.
from Enugu,
Okay.
and I want to contribute on what is going on.
Okay.
Problem we are having in this issue of sex education is that most of our parents, they are not open to their children.
Yes.
And anytime things are going on, they don't even allow the children to express themselves. And sometimes when their children see them coming in, they will be, running helter-skelter, being afraid. And because of that, they may not be open to tell the parents what is going on. In fact, I just married. This is my 21 years now in marriage, and
Wow.
my children, they are friends to me. So my first child, a lady, she's telling her children, her friends, that I am her best friend, and because of that, she's learning a lot from me, and even my wife. Everything that she talks about boyfriend or whatever, because she's in school. Definitely, you must have a friend. So, but any discussion with the boy, the girl will talk to her mother. Look at what this boy is saying. Look at this, look at that. And her mother, keep on advising her one-on-one and, telling her things concerning the boyfriend issue. And that makes us to live together. And myself, I also try as much as possible to explain some things to them too. And that's what parents supposed to be doing.
Yes.
And that will also make them to have that, open ground to say things concerning this issue of sex. Because if anything happens, they will, be able to talk to the parents and tell them, look at what this man is saying concerning this.
Yeah.
Like now, a boy is coming for her marriage, and she exposed everything to her mom, and one thing or the other may be going on, and the mother will be telling her, things to do and not to do. And anytime the boy decides to take her out, we always tell her, please don't go to a hiding corner. Make sure you are in a restaurant. Just to understand. Though she's just 20 years plus now. But we are not expecting her to go into that because she's already in final year in school now. But what we are planning to do is just to make sure at least she finishes her school and university. So these are things. And now, the people at the back, they are now following her steps.
Yes.
They are following her steps. And that makes things to work out well. So I believe that God He's going to help us.
Amen.
We
Amen.
thank you so much. God bless
Thank
you.
you very much,
you.
Mr. Bernard. Congratulations to you. 21 years in marriage is no child's play. And thank you for doing a good job. You and your wife are really doing a good job
Oh,
raising
yes,
your
they
child.
are.
But then I want to tell you, when she's getting married, make sure you invite ACNN. We must cover your wedding. Come and pay us to cover your wedding, Mr. Bernard. We have your contact, okay? But that's a good one, parents. How close are you with your child? Are you friends with your child? Yes, there's time for discipline and there's time to be friends
Yes.
with them. How close are you to your child? Does your child feel free to tell you anything? Can your child look you in the face and say, Daddy, Mommy, someone touched my bum today and this is what I did? Or Daddy, Mommy, someone said this to me, and you don't, start scolding and start shouting. How close are you
Do you
with
listen?
your child?
So this is
Feel
it.
free to call in. The number I'm coming to
Yeah,
you. The
sure.
number to call in is showing on your screen, and if you can't call in, send us your comments. We'll definitely read them out. Okay, before I come to you, you were saying something. Can you just round up quickly? You're talking
Okay.
about,
So basically that's just those are just the steps. Like you said, parents need to know what they need to say. Parents need to have a good relationship with your child. You don't need to
Good
expose them
listening
to
ears,
a
yeah.
lot of graphics. They don't need it. You don't need to expose them to pictures or videos. It's not necessary. You're just having little conversations with them, just to explain to them what their body parts are, what consent is, what boundaries are, what their privacy, what secrets are, their self-esteem, self-confidence. Basically that's just what you're doing, so your child is living a healthy life, that no matter what they tell the child outside,
there.
the child has a good mind of an own or of his own and can come back to you and say, Daddy, Mommy, this is what happened. In my child's school, there was a publication where they said in the primary school, about 60% of the children, primary school children, have been abused.
Primary school
Yes,
children.
primary school children, out of which 30% or 40, I think it was 30% of them were from the home, from family members. So you ask yourself, what are the parents doing? Are the parents not speaking with it? Don't the parents have good relationships
Hey.
with the children? So you need to also teach your children that nobody has the power over them. Nobody has the power to threaten them. That you are there for them, so that no matter what happens, they can come back. No matter how they be threatened, they can come back to you and say, Mommy, this uncle said if he wants to touch me, and if I tell you, he will beat me or he will kill me. She can come back confidently and say, Mommy, this is what the uncle said. Can
Yeah.
you imagine the audacity he had? You've
Wow.
done a good job already.
Yeah, Kachi will tell you, my daddy is a superhero. He's gonna beat you up. Okay, so you were saying something. You were reacting to what Mr. Bernard said.
No, I was reacting to something you said when you
Okay.
were talking about being friends and discipline.
Oh, sorry, pause. We have a caller. It's a good one.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Our daddies are really calling this.
No, our
Good
daddies are
morning.
trying.
Good morning. Please go ahead.
My name is Ajay Ramoti from Mina.
Okay.
I'm here to contribute about the subject or the topic that is going on.
Okay, Hajia, go ahead.
I was a victim of all these things
Oh.
because I have 3 daughters. One is 25, one is 23, and one is 18. So the 23 on and 18, I didn't give them chance to be close to me. So when my friend is telling me, give your daughter a chance, I say, no. For Islam, it's not good to me to be telling them all what is going on concerning woman. When the last one man came back, I don't know that she's pregnant because anytime she will have hijab. My friend's now telling me that it's like this, my daughter having pregnant. I say, no. See, my people, before I know that my daughter has pregnant, pregnant was in 8 months.
Wow.
The pregnant was in 8 months. We started discussing who is the owner, how come, before I know, she gave birth. So I'm here to contribute about all the mothers, especially we the Muslims, because we don't have that chance to open up for our children. We don't have that chance to educate our children about their own self, about how to control their self, about how to take care of their self, about how if they meet a man or a man tells them, what are they going to do? Actually, my mother told me that the person that has that baby is the person that is close to my husband.
You see, this is what we say.
And he came to our house anytime,
always from
but we
within.
didn't observe what is going on. So I'm here to tell all the mothers and fathers that this topic is very, very good, because here I'm educating some people in Islamic school, because it has already happened to me. So I dedicate myself to educate all the young ones and the mother in all Islamic school in Menza State here. Well, so that we'll be close to our daughters, be telling them what is good for their life. So I'm very happy with this topic, because now I even call some women to put eyes or to watch the program that is going on now in this. So I'm here to say I appreciate the topic, and I appreciate both of you there. May Almighty God give you wisdom and honor to contribute about our children. Thank you, Lord. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Hajia Ramatu. This is really courage talking about it. You're already having goosebumps.
I'm telling you.
But Hajia, yes, the mistake have been made, but then there is still a way out.
Yes,
so that your child doesn't make the same mistake with her own child, you need to step up. And I'm happy you are already taking that step. Don't feel too broken. Nothing happens without God's permission. Don't feel too broken. You need to talk to your child. You need to heal personally. Heal and then help your child heal. Make your children come close to you, and if you're able to get them, they in turn will be close to their own children, and then such won't repeat itself. It's really for the very first time I have a non-Christian calling. We truly appreciate you. This is what we do. This is what we do at ACNN. It's really a good one, and then we encourage you to keep watching the show, and always feel free to call in. Well, any other advice for Hajia Ramatu?
Well, I think she has said it all, to say this was what she has done, and moving forward she's educating other women to say, pull your child. And it ties into what I was about to say there's a place for discipline, there's a place for comfort. So you do not, and the truth about it is, no matter how hard you are as a mother, children always sense the people that love them and will fight for them.
Yes.
They always know. Non-verbal communication is louder, way louder than verbal, than what you say. So if your child has come to you one day to say, somebody took my pencil in class, what is your response? What is your first response? It tells that child, my mother will fight for me. It tells that child, my mother has got my back.
Yeah.
So when something really serious happens, they're able to come to you, because one, they know you will believe them, and two, they know you will fight for them.
True.
But many times our knee-jerk reaction puts them off, so they're not confident to tell us anything anymore.
Again.
And sometimes we're too busy. Mommy, can I tell you something? Not now.
now.
Later. Daddy, can I tell you something? Can't you see I'm watching football? And before you know it, that child feels nobody wants to listen to me. And then that
takes solace in their fear.
Recently, I had a wake-up call. Now, this is me.
Okay.
I had a wake-up call. I read a lot. And then I discovered that I could get my books digitally. So I'm literally constantly on my phone. And she came, my 10-year-old came, and she wants to tell me something. And I was just in the really good part of it. So I'm like, you know what, let's talk about this later. And I see her walk out. But the way her body language as she was walking out, it hit me really hard. And I'm asking myself, how many times have I turned this girl away because I'm busy doing one thing or the other? So I put my phone down. Now I tell myself, like, I constantly tell myself, put your phone down. And I think we as parents should also engage with our children.
Yes.
Let's leave the screens alone. It's not helping. So now I consciously tell myself, put your phone down. So I'll put my phone down
and talk.
And have that conversation.
Let's talk. And if you know what you wanted to tell me,
okay.
I'm not going to say
don't spill it.
I can't say it.
Don't spill it. Our time is really, really fast spent. But then before we go, I want to ask. Now we've talked about sex education. Of course, it's a very broad topic. We can't exhaust it. But then, do you think, Mrs. Anita, do you think is very proper to incorporate sex education into our children's school curriculum, starting from primary school, to tertiary institution? Do you think we should do that?
Yes, I think so. I think it's very important we do that. It's good that is done, because there and there they may be freer with their teachers to express themselves. At least they have a place where they can also learn other things. If they're not getting that education from the home, at least they should get it from the school. They are being taught biology, they are being taught reproduction, they are being taught health education and other things. Like I said, it's not as complex as you see it. They are just basic terms, but parents are afraid to even study these things and learn it. So you're not teaching your child how to go and have sex. That is not it.
No.
You're only teaching your child precautions. You're only teaching your child being
set
healthy.
boundaries too.
Yes. Consent and other things. So yes, it should be taught in schools.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about churches? Do you think we should talk about sex education in churches?
The whole idea of sex education is teaching your child the right thing, like she said, teaching them about their bodies in a safe space. So the home is a safe space. The place of worship is a safe space.
Yeah.
The school should be a safe space as well.
Yeah.
So that is it. Having those, and the thing is, it's not just one or the other. Let it start from home. Then they can reinforce in the school,
Or in
and then the
place of
church
worship.
reinforces
This
it.
is
But
again.
that place of the home, charity begins at
True.
home.
True.
That we must not leave it to the teachers, because you don't know what the teacher's value system is.
That's
Very
true.
true.
If your child's teacher is gay, please tell me. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So that place of the parents we shouldn't play with it, we shouldn't joke with it. So yes, let it be part of the curriculum. And then again, when you now have a new government or something that comes up and says, oh, as part of the curriculum, we should be inclusive. What do? But because you've already taught your child at home, even when those things now creep into the curriculum, because it will creep in
with
over
time. It will. Yes.
your child already has that confidence to say, no, this is what we believe in
Yeah.
our home.
Yeah, true. Okay, so there's a song my daughters always sing. I think they learned it from church. If you touch my private part, I will tell.
I
And
love
they'll
that
clap.
song.
Touch my private part. I will tell it to my mommy. I will tell it to my daddy. If you touch my private part, I will tell. And as they're saying it, they're pointing. They said they learnt it in church, and from the car, we learnt a new song. Listen. We had to listen, and
But you see, it's like what she's been saying. Sis,
Yeah.
It's not that deep.
it's not
that deep.
truly. It's
If
not.
you're finding it uncomfortable to say those things because you are also in the process of healing as a parent, those songs like that, you've
yeah.
settled from age 3 to age 5. You've
And they point
protected
at
your
their
child.
private
Yes.
parts. They point at it.
So
So
by
if
the time they are 5
it's
and
a
they're
good one.
asking deeper questions, you yourself, you've acclimatized to, if you touch
Yeah.
my private part, so you can now move on.
Explain.
To
Move
say,
on,
If
yes.
you touch my hand, and she's talked about consent and
Consent,
safe
yeah.
touch a lot. If you touch my hand and I am uncomfortable, I will tell.
True.
If you give me a hug and I don't like the way you smell, I will tell.
I don't like the way
Because
you hugged me and you
sometimes-
touched my bum.
Sometimes they cannot even articulate and express what is making them uncomfortable. And if your child ever says, I don't want to go to Uncle so person's house, please don't ever force them to go.
True.
That's already a red
somebody
flag.
raises hand to carry your 7-month-old baby and your baby shies away, hold your child. Do not force your children, because we heard some of these situations, like you were saying, those statistics. I mean, it's even more than that 60%. It's actually 1 in 3 girls and 1 in 5 boys
That are
between-
always abused.
before the age
Yes.
of 11.
God
Before the
protect our
age of
children.
11, and it's usually by people around. And so if your child is saying, I just don't like that auntie,
Oh, I don't like that uncle.
please take it up as a very serious thing.
And sorry, the unfortunate thing is that they don't listen to the boys a lot, especially when the boys bring up these
Yes,
issues.
when a boy tells you, I
And
don't like
boys
that
are
uncle,
also abused. That is
1 in
what
5 boys before
that
the
is
age
what
of
that is
11.
another thing we need to deal with. Boys are always abused, and they are let to deal with it on their
on
own.
their own.
Because they feel they are
Boys
boys.
should
Because
not
they
cry.
feel
Boys should
they are
not
boys.
cry. Yeah. Boys should not cry. Well, okay. So let me ask you my last question. Let me start with you, Mrs. Moju. What advice do you have for parents, guardians, caregivers, teachers, whoever, with regards to what we've talked about, sex
I
education?
think we've said it also. Let me just quickly recap. 1, you learn it yourself as the parent. 2, don't wait till your child is 15 to start
Before you
early.
start
Before they start
copying
copying the legs.
Start early. Let them have that positive body image to say, God made me and I am beautiful just the way I am. Let them get that reinforcement from you as a mother. As you as the mother, anything your child tells you, I've learned to count slowly in my head before I react. So I'm looking at the child and I'm slowly counting 1 to 10 in my head and saying, you're going to react to this as an adult. You're not going to have that knee-jerk reaction. To say sometimes all the child just needs from you as a mother is a hug.
Yeah.
But that one hug tells the child that, okay, my mom's got my back.
Yeah.
And then another thing is I learn to throw it back at the child. So if you come and tell me, I think I like a particular boy. I mean, if your 5-year-old is coming to tell you, I like a girl in my class, what is your knee-jerk reaction? So the question is, oh, why do you like? And by the time you now have that open conversation, and it could just be a friendly thing. Oh, she gives me her apple every day.
Oh, she shares her pencil.
Why does she give you her apple? Or sometimes it could be, oh, she's very beautiful. Why do you think? But those conversations come up as early as 4.
True. Very true.
And so you should be their safe space. I think that's my last word.
Okay.
You as a parent should be
their
your
safe
child's
space.
safe space.
I love that. I love that. Thank you very much. Okay, so let me get your last your last word, your advice.
The only advice I will give, which I said earlier, but I'll say it again, is the husband and the wife should be on the same page regarding sex education. They should also have a good relationship. You know, the husband and the wife should portray a good relationship before their children. It goes a long way. Now, it should not just be one party doing the talking all the time. Both parties should also do the talking. Now, you cannot give what you don't have.
True.
So you need to study. There are a lot of articles online. There are books. There are a lot of things. So dig in, read, study. Parents don't like to read. I don't know why. Read.
Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. So that when your child children are inquisitive, and you know the children we have these days, the questions they ask. So
Gen
if you don't,
Gen Z. Oh, no,
if you don't,
Gen Alpha, right? They're Gen Alpha.
I don't even know Gen Alpha self. So if you don't have an answer ready for the child, then you're already losing your child. Another thing again is have a good and healthy relationship with your child. Have a good communication system with your child. Your child should be able to walk up to you to say, Mommy, this happened. Daddy, this happened. One of you should be available, at least, for the child to speak to.
Okay, thank you. Indeed, by providing children with age-appropriate sex education, we empower them with the knowledge and skills necessary to make informed decisions about their bodies, relationships, and their future. And by so doing, we will raise a generation of confident and capable individuals. So my own advice to parents is, please catch them young. Catch them young. So a very big thank you to Mrs. Anita, Mrs. Mojo. Okay, for the very first time, let me do this on live TV. A high five. Thank you. A high five. Thank you so much. You people really made my day. Thank you so much. And to our viewers, thank you for allowing us grace your screen this beautiful morning. I'm sure our smiles made up your day, didn't it? And to our callers, thank you so much. You made this conversation, so wonderful. Thank you, especially Mrs. Hajia Ramatu. We don't take your call for granted. We expect more calls from you and your friends, likewise. And to those behind the scene, Mr. Godsend, Miss Adeshewa, Mr. Chigozie, Sheyi, are you there? All of you, mercy. Thank you for, making this program a wonderful one. Until we come your way again, same time, same station tomorrow. Stay safe. Bye-bye.